Welcome to the January 26th, 2021 episode of Reactive Consciousness, the in-depth podcast about what happened this week in our lives. I am masked in stereo with...
Lotus Prince on the very same audio track.
Yeah, we're not going to have to do any mixing.
No, this is great. I could save myself a couple of minutes of editing. Actually, maybe 30 seconds, 40 seconds. It's great.
Well, you folks all know that Lotus is quite the mixologist.
I'm sorry, I don't drink.
But yeah, we are seeing each other in person for the first time in basically a year, right?
More than a year. It was since MagFest.
It was MagFest the last time we saw each other?
I believe so.
Yeah, and so Lotus actually got to be in my house and see me in person here. So
I know how far away Vice is from me now.
So, of course, we have to apologize for a little bit of a muffled soundtrack here, but we are socially distanced and masked. So. It sounds like a bit like a drive-thru at Wendy's.
It sounds like all of us are Kenny from South Park.
But we do have a lot of great things to talk about this week. Actually, some pretty cool things. Did you watch the Resident Evil showcase this week?
No, I made a point not to.
Oh, okay. I can totally understand that. For somebody who loves Resident Evil so much, you want to know as least about it as possible.
I mean,
sure.
like the problem with my doing that is that a lot of these showcases often have cool trailer only stuff.
Yeah.
That I'm gonna just like miss out on, so I might want to go back and watch it anyway. But I just don't want to be spoiled for gameplay.
You won't be spoiled all that much. It's just kind of like a teaser for what it looks like. So
sure.
Just to get everybody going.
It's Resident Evil 8 Age, by the way.
yeah.
VIII Age.
But yeah, this is where they showed off a more significant portion of Resident Evil 8 Village. And it is really neat. So they confirmed that it is a direct sequel to Resident Evil 7. You're playing as the same main character,
nice.
Ethan, I believe his name is. And so they're continuing down that line. Not only that, but the gameplay style is very similar, with being a first-person adventure once again. However, rather than being kind of like in Biohazards, that's what 7 was called, right? 7 was called Biohazard.
I mean, they got cute with it because the whole series in Japan is called Biohazard. So in America, well, in the West, Resident Evil 7 was called Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, and in Japan it was called Biohazard 7 Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Because it was called Resident Evil in America because it's in a house, and Resident Evil 7 went right back to the intimate inside a house setting.
Yeah, so it was kind of like in a compound in the South, right? Is what I believe.
Yeah, I haven't played
the context of 7 to be. I haven't played it myself yet. But this was really neat. And it apparently the villains are 3 sisters. One of which is 2 of them are actually making the rounds now. For on horny on Twitter. The tall woman. And the nun vampire woman. Yeah. Oh, and they're all vampires, by the way. They're not like zombies.
Yeah,
like
we're just
the traditional.
Going full on. But I heard that the tall woman might be a reference to Hachishaku-sama, the like 8-foot tall woman of like Japanese urban myth. Fatal Frame 5 referenced that character as well. There's just like an 8-foot tall woman, because that's what Hachi means. And,
oh wow!
Like, you're on the second story of a house, you look out the window, and you just see her looking at you, and you're like, oh!
Yeah, I'm excited about this. It looks creepy as hell, and they also confirmed that like one of the major mechanics of the game is actually like a block function, which I don't think has been done before yet. So not only is there
that I'm aware of, yeah.
Is there gunplay, but there's also blocking. So I assume there will be even some melee.
How long before the game turns into the Chronicles of Riddick video games?
I actually really like the Chronicles of Riddick game, but yeah, this looks really promising, and it looks really creepy, and it looks like it's also a kind of a return to form to kind of the kind of design of the original games, kind of having that mansion, that turn of this century, like early 1900s mansion look, with a elaborate wood carving and it just looks like Resident Evil 1, with the mansion there. So
it'd be funny if the three vampire women were like, it'd be such a stupid reveal. But if they were like the brides of Dracula, there's just Dracula in Resident Evil.
Well, apparently, one of the things that they're teasing is that the tall woman is on the phone with somebody named Mom. So apparently maybe their mother.
I was gonna say it's called her mom.
Yeah. Well, it's some other name in Mom. It's Big Mom or something like that. So
that would be One Piece.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, One Piece has a Hachishaku-sama as well. One of Big Mom's subordinates is she has a few subordinates that are Japanese urban myths, like the woman who deals with mirrors and she has a scratched up face, the 8-foot tall woman with the big brimmed hat, yep, One Piece has that too.
Wow. It must be a trope to some degree, but
it is. It's like Slender Man. It's like that urban myth you've heard of.
Yeah, it's really creepy to see somebody disproportionate like that. So yeah. It's
super tall.
Yeah, crazy. And think about how terrifying that would, how imposing a vampire that size would be. Jesus.
Oh yeah, well even in Fatal Frame when it's a ghost, when she attacks you, she stoops down. You're just oh geez, come on.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to this one. I'll probably play 6 and 7 pretty shortly.
Yeah, I still have to play 6, which I hear no one likes.
Yeah, 6 and 7 are the ones I haven't played. I played the remake of 2 recently. I did buy the remake of 3, but remake of 2 is one of my favorite games I've ever played ever. It's really fucking good.
I have both, but need to play them.
Yeah.
I've been doing Resident Evil games in order, so my next one is I might be wrong about this, but I want to say Dead Aim on PS2. I'm quite behind.
Yeah, what is that the last one that you played?
No, the last one that I played was maybe Survivor 2, which is what are you doing?
Oh, what's the next one on the?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Okay. I'm assuming it's Dead Aim.
Oh, okay.
And maybe one of the Outbreak. I might skip Outbreak because Outbreak is bullshit on one player.
Yeah, come on. It's just interesting if that, to take a look at it as a thing. But there were some other things that they showed. They also revealed that PS5 will be getting a kind of similar to what they did with Resident Evil 7. They're going to do a non-combat demo that will have unique content.
Sure.
As a teaser called Resident Evil 8 Village Maiden. So yeah, that'll definitely be kind of like their PT.
Which is funny because Resident Evil 7 already was their PT.
Well, Resident Evil 7 also had a demo that has unique content in it.
Yeah, the PT demo. I actually did play the Resident Evil 7 demo. And it was just
with all the mannequins.
Yeah, there were never any enemies, but
it was creepy.
That was PT.
Yeah. So I enjoy this kind of stuff. I like it when they have a demo that actually feeds into the game rather than just gives you a portion of the game or something like that.
Exactly. That's why I always avoided demos back in the day. It's you get to play just level 1 or something. It's I'd rather be surprised by the whole game instead of get to this one part where I'm I've played this entire section already.
You know what's funny about that is Resident Evil or Half-Life 2's demo was Ravenholm, and that's one of the best sections of the game.
Yeah, so you finally get to it and you're
I played this a billion times already.
Not only that, but that's the most outstanding section of the game. So well, it's also not representative of the game.
No,
it's
it isn't.
Cool as shit, but the Half-Life 2 isn't a horror game. That part of it is.
Yeah, exactly. Moving on, they also revealed that they are not leaving current gen or past gen owners in the dust. It is coming out,
except they are, as far as that demo is concerned.
Well, but everything else is a PS4 and an Xbox One.
Yeah,
it's going to be on those.
It's going to be just like when the PS4 came out. There were a lot of simultaneous releases of PS3 and PS4. Maybe the PS4 version will have a little bit of a perk, like Watch Dogs did, but I expect a lot of simultaneous releases, especially because the PS5 is directly backwards compatible. So you could just release a 4 game with PS5 optimization on it or something.
Yeah, and going along with that, they did reveal that if you buy the digital version of the PS4 version, you will be getting the PS5 version for free.
Yeah, that's only fair.
Yeah.
I've already seen, like, Ghost of Tsushima is one such example, but, like, I have that on disc, but I have the option to go to the PlayStation Store and download, like, the PS5 optimization. I mean, like, I don't have a PS5, but that is still theoretically possible.
Yeah. And the final, like, major announcement from that was they showed a little bit of what's called Reverse, or Resident Evil Verse.
Yeah, like the universe. That's kind of a clever name, though.
So it is a multiplayer game where you can play as, like, multiple different characters from the universe and, like, shoot each other. It looks actually, like, really goofy and looks like a lot of fun. But I don't know what to think of it because I don't know about game modes and all that kind of stuff. But it does have familiar locations and familiar characters from all across the entire series, which is pretty cool. So I did enjoy seeing that, but it looks goofy as shit. Moving on from that, we do have another an announcement here. So apparently, Vicarious Visions, who made the amazing Tony Hawk remaster, Tony Hawk 1 and 2 remaster.
Yeah, that looks. I've seen that speedrun.
I really want to.
Gorgeous.
I really want to play that game.
And you know what cracks me up a little bit about it, by the way?
What's that?
It's a little thing. You know how in Tony Hawk 1 and I think 2, you know how there were the secret tapes you had to collect?
Yeah.
There was an HD release of that game on Steam, which no longer exists, but they updated it.
It was a bad version of that, too.
I think it was, but, like, it was more modernized, so you collected, like, the secret DVD.
Mm-hmm.
But on the Tony Hawk Pro Skater, like, 1 and 2 remaster on current-gen systems, it's just back to tape.
Yeah, why not?
Fuck it, it's a thing you remember, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this company also made the Crash Bandicoot trilogy and did, like, a really great job with that.
The new one?
Yeah, exactly. So, like, a lot of people were really digging on this company because they were, like, you know, they were doing a really good job with everything, especially Tony Hawk. And Activision folded them into Blizzard, and now they're just basically doing what Raven does now and just making levels and shit for the things that already exist in Blizzard's pantheon.
Yeah, that's weak.
Yeah, everybody's really upset about it, and rightfully so. They said that they won't be working on any unique titles or brand new titles in the near future.
Yeah, that's some bullshit. Although, ironically, they weren't before either.
Yeah, but they were.
I know what you mean.
They're not working on their own projects.
Yeah.
They're working under, like, the Overwatch team or whatever,
Yeah.
So I'm really disappointed at that because they obviously have like a developer within Activision that is very competent and did a really good job on these things, and it just stinks to see this. The next one is actually something you brought to my attention. You know this a little bit better than me, but
oh well, I mean, I didn't go full on into the article, but like, there's been some definite drama. Isn't even the right word for it. There's a straight up problem with the Materia Collective, which is a website that sells soundtracks, like on CD and vinyl and stuff like that.
Sure.
But it's been found that the people who did the Celeste B-side tracks and stuff like that haven't been paid their royalties in like 2 years, and apparently it's not just the Celeste people, it's just we're hearing about them in particular, but apparently this is like a bigger problem, and it's just super shitty.
Yeah, I think they did like the same people did something for I Am 8-Bit with like the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack, that kind of thing. Yeah. So that's really terrible to hear, especially considering like a lot of these people are very small and poured their heart and soul into
not a AAA game.
Yeah, so that's really a big shame. I wonder what the developer Celeste thinks of this all, because like Celeste, the developer Celeste is a really cool person.
And the music of Celeste is like half the game. Like, that soundtrack is amazing.
It's the same person who makes the Towerfall. Yeah. So it would be terrible to hear if they had something to do with this, but I don't think so. I think it just has something to do with the way that the soundtrack is distributed. So I hope they get that sorted out, because that's awful. In fact, a lot of that's going around. There's also Devil Engine's team is having trouble again. I talked a bit about how the developer and the publisher of the game were having a feud. So like the developer wasn't getting their royalties. Well, now apparently the developer had worked all that out with the publisher, but now the brothers that do the music and the art for the game, which is a huge big deal part of the game, said that they're not getting royalties on their end from the developer.
It's ridiculous.
So, it seems like there's a lot of drama going on with this game, and it's a beautiful game too, and it's really a shame to see like the legacy of this game just be tarnished with like all kinds of drama.
Well, yeah, it's just like the Lab Zero stuff. Like, how cool is all their products? And like, oh, whoops, behind the scenes is terrible.
Yeah, and I always think about that with the guys that make Binding of Isaac.
Ed McMillan?
No, not him specifically, but the developer.
Oh, Nicholas.
Nicholas has a whole bunch of shady past stuff going on. So I think the developer of Cave Story didn't get like their just desserts on like the sold versions of Cave Story. It's really a shame. And it's partially due to like them taking advantage of the fact that a lot of these developers couldn't read their contracts because they don't know English well.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is really a shame. I hope they get these things sorted out, because it's tough to hear that kind of thing, and you also don't know who to believe in a lot of these instances. But it seems like the developer is the one in common in between both controversies, so you kind of gravitate towards maybe they're the ones screwing this all up, but who the hell knows? Maybe it's just everybody involved.
Yeah.
You don't like to see that, and you want to be able to buy the game guilt-free as well. Moving on from that, there was a bit of a controversy with the Xbox Live Gold.
This actually amused me a little bit.
Yeah, and this goes to show that they are watching what people say about these things. So they announced that Xbox Live Gold is going to go up $10 per year, and it may not seem like a lot in the grand scheme of things, but like there are people that
a lot of people just pay like just for it forever.
Yeah, exactly. Not only that, but like a lot of kids are purchasing this.
Yeah, like asking their I was gonna say a lot of kids are asking their parents to purchase
Yeah, exactly.
Like, this your stupid video games. I'm paying more now.
Yeah, and this is the only way to play online games, and of course, like that's one of the main draws of having an Xbox in particular is the online ecosystem is really, really good. So like, asking an extra $10 may not seem like a lot, but a lot of people buy it all at once. They don't buy it. They don't do like a monthly subscription. They just pay once and then that's it. A lot of people do that with PlayStation Plus as well. So $10 is a big deal. I mean, you're already paying a lot of money for it. So I think it was going to be raised to $120, something like that, a year, and people were just complaining, and then they
backpedaled in like a day.
Yeah, they backpedaled in a day, and they said, well, due to fan feedback, they were actually listening. They were actually testing the waters, and they said, okay, we won't do it. We made a mistake, and they even said it.
But yeah, I was just gonna mention,
they were humble about it.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Instead of like, so many companies say like, well, due to certain circumstances, we decided not to. It's like, oh, fuck you. You know what it was. So I'm glad that they just came out and said it.
Like with GOG, they were like, due to gamer feedback, we're not going to have detention on there or devotion on there. Yeah, it's like
so many gamers didn't want to play this inaccessible game. Yeah.
The same gamers that rejoiced about it. Come on, get out of here.
Get the fuck out. Yeah. So props to Microsoft for that one.
Yeah, no, Microsoft was humble, and they're also in a spot where they don't really want to rock the boat because they're in a brand new console cycle, and they want their systems to catch on, and they want to be competitive with whatever Sony's doing. Obviously, the PS5 is a more popular option, but they're selling out of the Xbox Series X's almost as quickly. So I would imagine that you don't want to rock the boat during a critical time like this. In fact, if anything, they probably want to make things cheaper and try to have some loss leader kind of aspects in order to get people to get on board with them, especially considering that Xbox was significantly less popular last generations than the PlayStation. So I'm really actually hoping for Microsoft to get like a couple more features, because I have the feeling that eventually they'll have Windows compatible VR headsets be compatible with it.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
And the other thing, I know this is way out in left field, but I would really love if they had some kind of partnership with Valve. I think if they did that, that would really cinch it for people. People would be buying Xboxes left and right if they could get that going.
Yeah.
I don't know.
God forbid you could play Half-Life Alyx in your console.
I don't think maybe that aspect, but at least have some games that were compatible, that when you buy them on Steam, you can also play them on Xbox.
Yeah.
To some degree, you know. I'm not saying every game, obviously, but, you know, just have it be one of the compatible machines, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that would be actually a genius thing for Valve to do as well, because, their install base would rise very significantly, because some people just don't want to have a PC. So I would think that would be something. And they're already partners with Microsoft to begin with. I mean, it would be impossible for them not to be, because their platform is Windows.
Yeah.
So, moving on from that, some more Xbox news. We don't talk too much about Xbox because they don't generally have too many exclusives, so we don't get too excited about them on here. But they have some pretty cool things going on. One of them being Halo Infinite is going to have free-to-play multiplayer, that's a really smart idea.
That really is, because that's what put Microsoft on the map not Microsoft the company, but that's what put Xbox on the map in the first place.
Without Halo, Halo is synonymous with the Xbox brand. The Master Chief is basically the mascot of Xbox.
Pretty much. It's not Blinks.
Blinks the Time Cat.
Yeah. It's not the remake of Conquer.
I always think of Voodoo Vince and
or Stubbs the Zombie.
Yeah, Stubbs the Zombie. Who else was back then? Yes, I had
who's the guy in
Attack and the Power of Juju? Attack and the Power of Juju.
The third Hunter the Reckoning game.
Oh jeez, the Hunter the
There's
Reckoning.
Hunter the Reckoning Wayward, and then
the third one, yeah.
Redemption, I think.
Yeah. I remember there being
what a pain in the ass series to follow. By the way, can I just say?
Yeah.
Because the first and third are on Xbox. But I only had a GameCube growing up, so it's the first is on GameCube, second on PS2, and third on Xbox.
It's so annoying.
Come on, dude.
It's so annoying.
Nobody played through that entire series because they couldn't.
Yeah. Only somebody crazy like me.
Xbox is as good as it's going to get, but you still need to get a PS2 for the second game.
Yeah, luckily they were mediocre.
Yeah, I played the first on GameCube, and it's fine.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad game. It was cool for the time. It was
fine.
Smash TV, kind of.
Yeah.
But I think this is really smart because people will just buy an Xbox just for Halo, and and
that is absolutely the game to do.
Think about the amount of people that will be on the servers at any given time, with this game, and they'll make tons of money off of it with in-game purchases, with customizations and stuff like that.
Especially if it goes PC. I know they're gonna want this to be Xbox to sell the Xbox, but if they ever do cross-platform Halo, then everybody will be online all the time because everyone's on some kind of PC. That'll be unstoppable.
Yeah, and I think it would be even neater if they secured Destiny 3 or whatever as a free to play game on their service as well. So that would even cinch it even further. Have another partnership with Bungie again. So,
they could finally make Oni 2.
And Marathon 4.
And they could recommission Larry Bundy Jr. to do the art. For Oni 2.
Oh man, why Larry Bundy Jr.?
Didn't he do the cover art for Oni?
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think he might have.
Oh, makes too much sense. That's hilarious. But moving on from that, Zen Studios, the makers of Zen Pinball, Zen Pinball 3, who is now the publisher of a lot of the Williams and Midway recreations, says that they are coming out with a Zen Studios Pinball Showcase on the 27th, so in tomorrow, as of the airing of this.
As of the airing, yes.
So I am really excited for this because they've been gradually re-releasing a lot of the same tables that were previously in a game called Pinball Arcade, but they lost the license. So they're kind of retreading ground, but the Pinball FX games have been really, really good, and the recreations are just as good or even better. They have extra they have a lot of extra features and things like that, new things that you can pick to have on there or not.
Sure.
And they just do a really good job. They also have a lot of original tables that they've released for Star Wars in the past, Family Guy. They've even done Bethesda themed ones with a Fallout table, a Doom table.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty sexy, actually.
Yeah, the Doom 2016 table is actually a really fun table, and it is not a realistic table in the slightest. It is like a truly original digital game.
Like, I never really got into pinball, but like, I would look into a Doom pinball table.
Oh, the Doom pinball table is a blast. But I expect them to have a very big announcement with several different tables that are going to surprise you. So here, so I don't think it's any surprise what like the biggest Midway and Bally tables are, and that's like Twilight Zone and the Addams Family. They have not showed up in Zen Pinball 3 or Pinball FX 3. So I'm thinking that they have either gotten the licenses for those or something similar. One of the biggest ones that's been requested is the Indiana Jones pinball, a recreation of the Indiana Jones pinball table from back then.
Oh, do you think they have a part where like you have to hide in a refrigerator?
Actually, one of the mini games is punching that big burly guy from the third
movie?
one. The third one. Is it the first one where he gets caught in the propeller? The big burly guy.
Yeah, it's the very first one.
Oh, okay.
I love that scene, by the way, because that guy was just chilling, like, in a building.
Looking for a fight.
Yeah, that's the thing. He sees Indiana Jones fighting the pilot of the plane ready to escape, and he's just like, oh ho ho! And like, and you know what the thing is? That guy fought honorably the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, he goes up to Indiana Jones, like, hey, come on over here. He's like, oh, fine. And Indiana Jones throwing, like, sand in his face and everything. The guy's like, God damn it. And Indiana Jones has to win by deception.
Yeah. So, yeah, he has the propeller on his side.
Yeah.
So, and what
and that wasn't even the big plan either. That just worked out that way. So I'll give Indiana Jones credit for that much. He didn't set that up, but I just love that the guy was just like overjoyed at the idea. He wasn't even like, I'm gonna take this motherfucker down because I'm a big guy. He was just like, oh, a fight.
He was excited for it.
Like, yes.
But that was a great pinball table, and it's never been immortalized in digital form. So like the only way to play it is to find it somewhere. And you know, like finding a good classic pinball table like working, you know, it's getting, you know, like rarer and rarer. So I would think that since Zen Pinball has had a really good working relationship with Disney, you know, they have made the Star Wars pinball game.
Sure.
They made a Family Guy table. They made the Aliens themed tables that they've done for the same package.
Is there like a large pinball that you have to run away from but never run to the side to avoid its path?
Not on the real pinball table, no.
Oh, okay.
But they also have a Simpsons one too, I think. So So I think it would be really great. They work with a lot of Disney properties to begin with to actually finally make a recreation of that. So those are just some guesses, but maybe it's all of them. Maybe it's just one of the ones that I'm suggesting. But it's going to be something big, or else people they wouldn't hype you up like this. It must be something big. Or maybe they got licensed to do other companies. Like maybe they got Stern, the Stern licenses, or the Sega licenses from that era, or who knows. So really looking forward to that, and I'll report back on that. Also, this week sees the release of Hitman 3, now self-published. It is no longer an Eidos Square Enix joint.
Huh.
But people are raving about it. People really love the reboots of Hitman. So this is obviously not the third Hitman game.
I was
it's
just
very
going to make a joke out of that. Really? Hitman 2 was on the GameCube?
This is like the third of the reboot ones, but
apparently they've just been knocking it out of the park with these reboots.
Yeah, even I'm thinking about looking at these again, because I'm sure they control a lot and are a lot clearer and a lot more user friendly than back at Hitman 2 when I tried it. The only time I ever tried it.
Yeah, same with me, because it was on console. I've only ever played the original Hitman 2, and it is unforgiving.
Yeah, even the first level was really hard for me to wrap my head around, and it's not something I really wanted to play.
Yeah, I beat the first level the wrong way.
Yeah, that's how I did
just
it.
Shot everybody up, because I tried doing the stealth, but there's this one part where you have to grab something or switch something out in a fraction of a second when somebody glances the other way. I'm like, I'm not getting the timing down when I'm 14. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it now.
Yeah, and that's not even the kind of game I want to play. You know what I mean? So. I would really like to check these out, because they're basically they give you a playground, a sandbox to play in, and they give you all the elements. They give you the clockwork scenario. In some ways it's kind of like Sexy Brutale or Majora's Mask. They give you a clockwork situation, and you have to figure it. You have to figure it out based on the timings of things. And back when that happened. Back when I played Hitman 2, I didn't really understand that type of gameplay.
Yeah.
And I didn't even like Majora's Mask back then, and I love it now. So I might be more amenable to it, especially considering all the modern conveniences. So with these games, I don't think you really need to play them in order. So there's basically no story to Hitman. So he's a hitman. So I'm just gonna I might pick up 3, if it's on sale sometime, for sure. And this was a big surprise, and something basically only me and a few select other people care about it. But I have been talking about the Neo Geo Pocket Color ports of fighting games on the Switch that have just been phenomenal so far. They did the Last Blade game that was on Neo Geo Pocket Color, Samurai Showdown. They've done Fatal Fury, King of Fighters, and Gal's Fighter. I think those are the 5. And they are phenomenal ports. They are phenomenal emulations of those games. And first of all, you don't have to play it on a Neo Geo Pocket Color, which is hard to play these days. With you need to have a light source and everything. They weren't backlit like a Game Boy Advance SP back in the day. But you can also play 2-player on one screen, which was something you can never do with those games. You needed to have 2 systems, 2 games, and a link cable, and play it on 2 different screens. Now you can finally, spar with a friend, just like any other fighting game. And that was even emulations of the Neo Geo Pocket Color games in the past didn't allow you to do that. You could only play it 1 player, really. So what's amazing about this is I have been saying for a long time that SNK vs. Capcom Match of the Millennium, which is bar none the best game on the system, one of the best fighting games ever made, not even just one of the best fighting well, not even just one of the best games on the system or whatever. It's one of the best fighting games I've ever played in my life. It's legitimately really great. But I doubt that they'll ever be able to get through the license of it, because, it's 2 different companies. So they need to get Capcom's permission. Well, lo and behold, somebody spotted on the Korean ratings board SNK versus Capcom match of the Millennium. This is phenomenal news. It means that this showstopper game on the system will finally be rescued from being in the abyss. We'll be able to play it finally with a proper 2-player mode, and it also opens the door for other possibilities, like the trading card game that used to be on the Neo Geo Pocket Color with SNK versus Capcom. Those games were a ton of fun, and everybody really loved those. So, maybe they might do other collaborations with Capcom in the future, and they always did great jobs when they did that. So I'm super excited. This is going to be really great. And finally, there have been two shmups released recently. One called Raging Blasters, which is now on Steam. You should check it out. It's actually made by the same developer as Missile Dancer, which came out on Switch this week. They're kind of like doujin-y, like indie shmups, but Missile Dancer kind of has like a ray storm kind of system, where you lock onto bad guys and and release the button and shoot them all, and that was a lot of fun. But this one is more similar to the compile shooters or even like the Star Soldier games of the past, kind of like a high score run. So I'm really excited for these, and looks like they're getting a lot of mainstream attention. So I just wanted to mention both of those real quick. And finally, I did want to say a quick bit here. Rest in peace, Larry King. He passed away over the weekend, and he was a really famous interviewer and helped launch the CNN cable news network. He was a big deal in terms of how his interviews were done, and he had a lot of candid interviews, and certainly an iconic personality. And he unfortunately died over the weekend, and as well as Henry Hank Aaron. Do you know anything about Henry Hank Aaron?
He's one of the most famous baseball players, like Hank Aaron, Babe Ruth, Cal Ripken, certain names. Even if you don't know baseball, you've probably heard their names before.
So do you know what he's famous for?
I'm afraid I don't.
Okay.
He's one of those people to me because I don't follow sports.
So
I just know he's a huge deal.
Hank Aaron was the first person able to beat Babe Ruth's home run record.
Okay, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, and he did it in a time in which performance-enhancing drugs or couldn't even be a possibility.
Yeah.
So he still holds.
Yeah, it's not Mark McGwire.
yeah, or Sammy Sosa, or even what's his name? Bobby. The guy, Barry Bonds. I'm sorry, Barry Bonds is the person who holds the current.
Yeah, I was gonna say Bobby Boucher was a football player and also fictional.
No, but Hank Aaron is of course one of the an extremely prominent African American player when there weren't too many African Americans in the game as well. So it just was a really cool thing to celebrate for him, and he was also very active in the kind of the voters' rights kind of stuff that's going on in Georgia at the this year and last year. So he even went out and got his COVID shot just to show people that it was something you should do.
Yeah.
So he was a very beloved personality, and I actually have some personal he's a fixture in my memory of my childhood. I don't know if you knew this, but my brother, he's 7 years older than me, so I really looked up to him, but one of the things that he used to do was collect baseball cards, and that was a big thing when he was a kid. The late 80s, early 90s was a big time for baseball cards.
Yeah, Topps was like king of the world.
Yeah. Topps, Upper Deck, all those. And Fleer. Fleer was another one. Yeah. They made a lot of good Marvel cards, Fleer. I remember them.
I never had those, but I definitely saw them around.
But and Topps made the Ninja Turtle trading cards, which I was into at the time. But anyway, my brother really liked going to these conventions, and he would get signatures of a lot of like popular people, like Carl Yastrzemski and Joe DiMaggio and people like that were going around to these conventions and signing baseballs. And my brother got a Hall of Fame bat, like a Louisville Slugger, signed by Hank Aaron. Like,
nice.
He actually, like, I remember going there with him as a little kid. My brother was a teenager at a time, and I was a young kid, and I remember him going up and getting it. So, that's like a big memory for me. It's like something I remembered, and remembering how special it was that my brother had that. So, I just wanted to quickly give them their due, because he was a big part of the game, and certainly an influential person. So, and he did it on his own power, like definitively. So I have a lot of respect for the man. And that's pretty much all I had to say for this week. Lotus, did you have anything else that you wanted to go over before we do our closing remarks?
Yeah, I have the most important video game news of all, which is that the SAT tests in the U.S. have dropped their optional essay section and their individual subject sections. So it's just going to be math and verbal now, because partly of COVID, I think. And it's we don't need to worry about this shit. So good news, people who are nervous about the essay portion.
So for anybody who doesn't know that are outside of the U.S., the SATs are standardized tests that we take in order to get into college.
Yeah, just about everybody takes them, or an equivalent like the ACTs. But like, I'm not gonna get into that. But it's a standardized test. It's fine. You take it when you're 11th grade.
What's kind of funny is they're kind of reverting back to when we took them. When we took them, there was only 2 sections. So
although I will say because I've been tutoring in preparation for stuff like that, and the test, like the reading comp questions and the verbal questions, are like such an improvement from what we had.
Yeah, like ours were really esoteric and like weren't an indication of anything other than it was like that you studied for that test.
Yeah, it was like analogy questions.
Yeah, they don't have analogies anymore, right?
No.
Yeah.
Now like the reading comp is like legitimately like you need to read the thing to find out, or like my favorite questions on the reading comprehension section actually are the ones where it say, as is used in the passage, what is the meaning of this word? And
that's pretty good. Yeah.
But no, it's great because all 4 answers are actual definitions of the word. So you have to read the passage. You can't just go, I know what that means. This isn't a vocabulary quiz. This is a reading comprehension quiz. So I actually quite appreciate that.
I would probably do even better than I did. Like I got a good score back in the day.
I would as well. Yeah.
I got a good score back in the day. I mean, not Old Man Stompy level, but Old Man Stompy got a perfect score on his SATs.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts.
Like both sections, which is insane.
That's not possibly. It's not human.
Yeah.
But and the other section, the verbal section, is just where they give you various like articles or passages, and you go over grammar stuff, or like, should we add this sentence or should we subtract this sentence? Why not? And like, I actually quite like that stuff. I think I probably would do better now. I mean, I'm obviously twice my age that I was then, but still.
Sure. Well, you're also an English teacher, so you're entrenched in that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I've also been teaching this shit, so like I can't help but like know what to look for.
But I feel like I'm also a lot less nervous. Also, I have no stakes
well,
either.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. Yeah, you are timed. Watch out.
Like if I don't do well, who cares? I'm an adult. I already have a job.
That's the whole thing. Yeah. Oh, but what if the college I want doesn't accept me? It's like, well, we're a little. That ship has sailed.
But there are other things that we had to take as adults. Like we had to take the GREs to get into grad school, and then the praxis exam for teachers. So I mean, there and even the GREs were a lot like the old SATs were.
Kind of, yeah.
They were very similar. So anyway, enough about that. That was the show for this week. Please remember to subscribe to the Corrective Consciousness YouTube and SoundCloud pages. While there, please give us thumbs ups, likes, and 5-star ratings on iTunes. It helps promote and spread awareness of the show, and any bit of encouragement helps keep the show going. You can also catch us on our Thursday podcast, Corrective Consciousness, line.
Yeah, what's the name of that thing we do every week?
Where we will actually be going over abandoned video game series. So I look forward to that. And you can also catch me as vysethebold pretty much anywhere.
And you can follow me on my YouTube channel, Lotus Prince. You can hit me up on Twitter at Lotus Prince. And finally, if you are interested in seeing my videos early, getting in on exclusive live streams, I just started Mortal Shell, as a matter of fact. So just in games for me to Let's Play.
Is that a Man of Medan series?
No, Mortal Shell is a Souls-like.
Oh, okay.
Came out just last year.
Nice.
Yeah, so suggesting games for me to Let's Play, which will be the next thing I do. It'll be a suggestion, and get in discussions with me and other patrons on Discord, then perhaps consider swinging by my Patreon account, which can be found at patreon.com/LotusPrince.
All right, everybody. We'll see you on Thursday.
Until next time, everyone.
Bye-bye.